talk about tools. So we're going to talk about the tools I use for work. For those of you that don't know, I have done 4 years of plumbing in the field. I also have a apprenticeship certification from a technical college as well. So, and I've been a service plumber for the past 4 years. I buy a lot of tools. I use a lot of tools. Those old-timey plumbers, you know, they got by with a 5-gallon bucket and 2 channel locks, but things have changed and people have gotten smarter. So we're going to go through kind of my loadout. This is just one part of the pack out. Got 2 more boxes over there. We're going to go through kind of like my tiered system and the power tools I use and everything. So this is all off the cuff, so I'm going to be all over the place. But we're going to switch around. We're going to start over here. So I kind of have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 for my system. Tier 1 is this little bag here. It's a little Klein electrician's pouch. My tools that I use for a lot of common service calls are going to be in here. Stuff like toilets, faucets, garbage disposals, shower valves, everything like that. A lot of the common stuff's going to be in here. The stuff that isn't used on every call but is used on a lot of calls. This is tier 2. It's this big toolbox here. I don't typically bring this whole toolbox in here. I've got this tote tray that I built. I will typically throw this pouch in there and then accoutrement of other tools. So tier 2. This is the stuff that is more commonly used in the stuff I keep in my pack out. It's also smaller stuff. You know, I'm not keeping my 18-inch pipe wrench, my 14-inch pipe wrenches or anything like that in here. But it's more common tools that I will need more often than, like, say, the stuff that is in my pack out system. And then tier 3 obviously is the pack out system. These common tools, specialty tools, everything like that. Tier 1, the little pouch. Stand back here. Hopefully this doesn't mess with audio too much. So first thing is a set of Klein screwdrivers, flathead and Phillips, made in USA. A little bit of a confession. I am also using this as a time to clean this stuff out. 10-inch channel locks. I don't use Knipex. I have used Knipex. I don't like Knipex. I like the Channel Lock brand channel locks. So, a pair of 10-inch channel locks. 6.5s. These are actually coming really handy because we use crimp pecs here. So, it's always nice to pre-crimp your pecs. These are perfect. I've used other small brands. They don't work as well. Because all the way open is perfect for 3/4 pre-crimp, and then closing them up 1 channel is perfect for 1/2 inch. So these are awesome. 8-inch adjustable wrench for those brass nuts that you don't want to mar up. I know plumbers that just use channel locks on exposed brass nuts, like behind a toilet on a supply line or something like that, and they just leave teeth marks and they don't look as good. So having a good set of adjustables is good. Smaller set of adjustables for the areas where that 8-inch won't fit. Pair of needle nose. A lot of times I can use this to fish hair out of drains if they're calling me for about a plugged up pop-up or something like that. Also, it's really good for whenever you're setting a basket strainer or a tub drain, holding that in place while you tighten the stuff down from the bottom. A torpedo level. This one's aluminum cased. It's an Empire. It's magnetic. It also has, this one's specifically designed for plumbers because right here it has a grade. It has level, 1/8 inch per foot, 1/4 inch per foot, 3/8 per foot, 1/2 inch per foot. It also has a perfect plumb and a 45 on it. Sorry, that was out of frame. Perfect plumb and a 45 on it. I have a 5/16 nut driver because a lot of plumbers know that 5/16 is our most common nut driver. Fernco's, no hubs, everything like that. I used to carry a 6-in-1 and not have these multiple tools, but I found that my 6-in-1s end up becoming just nut drivers because I'll lose the bits out of them. So that's why I carry this. Also, 6-in-1s, every one I've had, I put too much torque on them whenever I'm tightening something down, and the casing where it slips into the handle, it ends up slipping. So, and I don't like that. So I carry I carry 3 separate tools for that. I've always found that the more jobs a tool can do, the less efficient it is at doing all those jobs. I've got just some chintzy little self-locking tape measure. This is stuff for like measuring the rough end size on toilets, like the distance they are from the wall, measuring the spread on faucets. Are they a wide spread? Are they a narrow spread? Are they a one piece? You know, everything like that. Whenever I'm cutting small pieces of PEX or small pieces of PVC or small pieces of copper, this is nice instead of having my big 25 or 30 foot Stanley FatMax. And last couple things in here. These Allen keys are the perfect sizes for Delta faucets, and that's the faucets that we use. And then for any of the other things that may need an Allen key, I've got a small set of Allen keys in here. So that is it for my tier 1. And that comes with me pretty much on every call. Also, DeWalt flashlight. I'm a DeWalt guy. I know I have a pack out. If I could go back in time, I'd just do the Husky system, because one of these, after 8 months, the bar in here, the lock broke and everything, and now whenever I'm driving in my van, the drawers fly open if I don't keep something in front of it, and it'll actually just topple my entire pack out system. I would have just gone with the Husky, because I got a 3-year warranty and these only had a 1 year, and I didn't know that, so it's too late for me to warranty that. So that's tier 1. I'll go ahead and put this all in here, and I'll get back to you with tier 2. All right, tier 2. So this is just a DeWalt waterproof toolbox. I think I bought it at Tractor Supply for like 25 bucks. Actually, that's not supposed to go in there. That's supposed to go in the pack out, so I'm gonna throw that over there. Boom. So, it has this little top tray. It has a deep basin in here, and then I've got 2 of these Husky pouches that I set in here for like pipe dope and everything like that. So we'll start with the top tray. So I have heat-proof plumber silicone grease for O-rings, Delta faucets. Whenever I'm working on Sloans, like Sloan flushometers, this is really good for putting on the threads. So I got that. A pair of PEX cutters, because we predominantly use PEX here in North Carolina. Another set of 6.5 channel locks. These ones are a little bit more beat up than the other pair. I actually have these Klein Knipex knockoffs. Again, I don't use the Knipex pliers wrenches. I bought these to see if it would be worth it to buy them, and I just use an adjustable wrench. It's not worth it to me to use these things. Everything that these things can do, my adjustable wrench can. Actually, these I've been meaning to take out and put in my house. Again, I've tried other brands of channel locks. The Milwaukee ones, they've got a lot of play in them, and they don't have as many grooves in them for adjustment as the channel lock brand one does, so I don't like them as much. The teeth do grab really well. I keep a pair of these in my solder tray because I don't want to ruin the temper on my channel lock ones, so I keep a set of these in my solder tray, so whenever I'm like unsweating a piece of copper, I can grab it with a pair of pliers and kind of wiggle it off there. So these are actually getting put somewhere else. Marking tools. Keep a lot of carpenter's pencils and different sorts of Sharpies and everything like that. That actually are supposed to go in here. .5/16 bit for a screw gun. Very common for me to use this, so I keep it in this top tray. Another set of Allen keys. You know, 2 is 1, 1 is none type thing. It's nice to be redundant. Teflon tape and pipe dope. Plumber's best friend for sealing threads whenever you're tightening stuff down. And then this is just some trash. Alright, that's it for the top tray. We will go into the bags here. So in this bag, keep all my marking tools. I keep a Husky Butterfly knife sharpener. I'm weird. I don't just buy new blades for my stuff. I actually sharpen my PEX cutters and my PVC cutters and my utility knife blades. So, and then I have this contactless voltage meter. to see whenever I kill a breaker on a water heater, or if a customer told me that they killed a breaker on a water heater or garbage disposal or a dishwasher or something, I can check it. Can't tell you how many times I've gone to a customer's house to replace a water heater. I'm like, yeah, I shut the breaker off to it, and then I touch it with this and it lights up. And I'm like, you didn't shut the breaker off to that, and that would hurt. So thanks. The other bag, here's one of those 6-in-1s I was telling you about. Like I said, I can't put enough torque on this guy because this shaft right here spins inside the handle whenever I start putting a lot of torque on it. Whether I'm trying to take something off or putting something on. They are nice, they're handy, but they're just not as hard use as I need. So I do keep one in here. I've got my 25-foot Fat Max whenever I'm like going in a crawl space or something like that. It's a little bit more beat up. And pro tip for those who have Fat Max, if you want it to be self-locking, is just kind of halfway put that lock down on it. Just put it about halfway down, and you can still pull it out, and it's kind of self-locking. And then just pull it up to retrieve it, and I just always put it on like the half-cock position. And then 5/16 torque wrench. These are designed to be 60 inch-pounds, and that's perfect for like no hubs and Fernco's and everything like that. That's what they're designed to be torqued to. Getting down in the weeds of this box now. It's a mess. Everything's just thrown in here, so there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm pulling this stuff out. It's just whatever's on top. So it's basically the last used tool. I've got 2 pressure gauges. I'm checking. We do well pumps here. So setting and checking pressure on pump tanks and also expansion tanks for water heaters. Sometimes they're in a position where I can't get this big guy in there, so I do have a smaller pen type one as well that I keep handy. I have up to 1.25 inch PVC cutters here. These are good for like PVC water lines. Typically we find PVC water lines are on well pump tanks, well pumps, and on main water lines going into houses. So any repairs or replacements on that, these guys are getting a lot of action. They ratchet, they lock in place, good to go. A basin wrench, I will tell you this, I just had to buy this one because I lost my rigid one. If you are a plumber and you need a basin wrench, don't buy the Milwaukee one, buy the rigid one. It's better, these teeth grab on better, and that lock, that right there, is stronger. So you're not having to put 2 hands up there to try to get this to grab onto something while you're trying to twist it. It's just, the rigid ones are better. I had to buy these out of necessity because nobody around here stocks the rigid ones. I need to order them. And I lost my pair on a job. So definitely get the rigid ones. I have a Rinnai specific Phillips head screwdriver. These are really good because we do work on a lot of Rinnai tankless water heaters. So these are good. These are specifically designed to get inside and unscrew stuff inside of the Rinnai tankless. Really long shaft on there. It's also insulated, so if you know, power still onto it for some reason, you don't get zipped. 12-inch pair of channel locks. My favorite pair of channel locks. I love to use these guys, but the reason why I don't keep them in my tier 1 bag is 2 reasons. Number 1, they're too big to fit in that bag. Number 2, a lot of times like working on a toilet or working on a faucet or something like that, the 10-inch pair gets me by just fine. The 12-inch pair would be a little bit too big to go underneath of a cabinet or behind a toilet. But yeah, love this pair of channel locks. I have the Crescent knockoff of the pipe vise. It works okay. I just don't want to spend the money on a pipe vise one. I don't use it enough to, you know, warrant me purchasing the same size one from Pipe Vise for $100. But it works pretty good. It's all right, especially for like galvanized piping. We run into that from time to time. The Milwaukee construction or demolition, I'm sorry, screwdriver. It's got a strike plate. It has a full tang inside of it, so that the screwdriver, the rod goes all the way up and attaches to that strike plate there. They actually do market these as being able to be hit with a hammer and used as a chisel. That's exactly what I use this for. I rarely, if ever, use this as a flathead. It's pretty much almost always used as a chisel for like knocking out pieces of wood, or knocking out pieces of concrete. This is my second one I've had. I've been doing this for 4 years and I've only ever broke one. So PVC cutters up to 2 inch. This is mostly used for like DWV or foam core piping instead of the Schedule 40 stuff, just because it's, you know, easier to cut the foam core with this stuff than it is to bring a Sawzall. And if you're trying to cut Schedule 40 with this, sometimes the blade will walk left or right. I have had the rigid cutters before. They are way better than the Cobalt ones. I just haven't purchased another pair since I lost those ones. There's a theme amongst me. I don't really break tools that often, but I do lose them. Another 8-inch adjustable. Sometimes you need 2 of them, so keep a second set of that in there. Here is like a 14-in-1 I bought. It's a Husky. As you can see, pretty much all the bits are missing out of this one. I think yeah, that one's the only one I have bits in right there. This one's good, like dishwasher adapters, and or not dishwasher adapters, I'm sorry, for garbage disposals. That 3/8 nut driver right there, that is what is predominantly used to attach the tailpiece onto the dishwasher. So, but yeah, this one comes in handy pretty well often. Also adjusting pressure switches on pumps. That 3/8 nut driver is also what's used there. We're 20 minutes in. If you haven't realized already, this is going to be a long video. So, sorry if you're not here for the whole thing, but hey, I've had a couple of friends ask me to do this, so I'm doing this. Stud finder. This is used for mounting expansion tanks. The code changed at the beginning of this year in North Carolina. Expansion tanks are no longer allowed to be supported on piping. They have to be supported on the wall. So we have to use expansion tank mounting brackets, secure them into studs. I know some guys, they just like measure off a corner 16 inches and then they run a screw in there, but sometimes builders didn't build it right and that stud's not at 16 inches and you just ran it into drywall and now you're just poking holes in someone's house. Stud finder. It's also really good for whenever I'm putting an access panel in for a shower valve or something along those lines, or if I'm installing a new washer box for a washing machine. That's really good for that too. The Milwaukee handsaw. I actually have the punch blade in here. I have the punch blade for the drywall right here, but this is really good for like old CPVC or old PVC that you're afraid you're going to crack by using the ratchet cutters. And you can use this to cut that and then glue new PVC onto it. So, throw that in there. This right here, this is a mowing wrench. We don't really use mowing here in North Carolina. Whenever I was a plumber in Florida, mowing was the standard, but up here in North Carolina, Delta's the standard. I do keep this kind of as a memento to my time in Florida, but also whenever I do come in contact with like a mowing faucet or something along those lines, this thing comes in real handy. Voltmeter. This one is an Ideal, and my helper wrapped it up wrong last time, so I'm going to rewrap that really quick. But it's got ohms, volts, and amps. Got the amp draw right here on the clamp, so that's really good for water heaters. You know, checking out, see why a water heater's having an electrical issue, or check an amp draw on a well to see if the pump's still doing good. Hold on. Hold up. So yeah, voltmeter. Pair of Kleins. These Kleins actually belong to my dad, and he gave them to me whenever I became a plumber. I was like, Dad, why are you giving me a pair of Kleins? I'm not an electrician, I'm a plumber. But funny enough, I use these on every water heater I do, or every dishwasher, or pretty much every garbage disposal. Whenever I'm twisting the wires together to put my wire nuts on, these are the best thing for it. But yeah, my dad passed away almost a year ago, so I like to keep these, number one, as, you know, a tool, but number two, as kind of a reminder of my dad, him saying, you know, good luck in your adventures as a plumber type thing. The old Bosch 12 volt. I like the magazine style battery operation. for this thing. That's why I didn't go with the DeWalt 12 volt or anything like that, because I like the magazine style, and I'm not paying the red tax for Milwaukee. So nice little drill driver. It's not hammer function or anything like that, but I love this thing. Comes in handy, especially if I'm doing like a dishwasher and I have to hang a hose. I have to loop the hose up. This thing, instead of getting like one of my 20 volt DeWalt drill driver or impact in there, this thing perfect to get up in there and just mount that stuff inside of the cabinet. 12-inch torpedo, another plumber specific one. It's got that bubble right there that shows, you know, level, eighth, quarter, 3/8, half-inch. Gives me fall on pipe, everything like that. I love these Empire levels. You'll see my 2-footer right here is also an Empire. Love these guys. Again, redundancy. I have another little level in here. This guy's nice because sometimes the torpedo I keep in my tier 1 bag or this 12-inch guy, they're just a little bit too long, like between 2 hubs of a pipe, so I can use this in place of that. Another set of needle nose. Again, 2 is 1, 1 is none. A big 10-inch adjustable from Milwaukee. These are actually really good. They have very little slop in them, so that's good. Oh, and then a little pair from Milwaukee as well. I have a pair of Smooth Jaw 6.5s. I have a pair of 10-inch 6.5s as well, but I loaned them to another plumber in my company and I have not got them back yet. I need to do that on Monday. Stubby Phillips head screwdriver. This comes in handy for water heaters that are in closets. A number 1 Phillips head screwdriver. We don't run into them often, but sometimes we do on like chintzy Amazon shower valves that people want us to install. I have a small bit case for bits for like a screw gun. Disposal Allen key for unjamming disposals. And a set of blades for my fastback. This is tier 1 as well. This always stays in my pocket, so it's always with me. And it comes with Phillips head, flathead, and 1/4-inch nut driver on the other end of it, so that's good. And then last thing in here is the American Standard tub wrench, or American Standard toilet wrench. So, moving on to tier 3, I actually have 2 of these 3-drawer Milwaukee packouts. My crappy little plastic table isn't going to hold them both easily, so I will, whenever I'm done with this one, I'll pull this down, put the other one up here, show you the other box, and then after tier 3's power tools. So, starting off, 24-inch pipe wrench, and it's steel. I got this actually for $11 at an antique shop. It's an Armstrong, made in USA, and I don't need it all the time, but when you need it, you freaking need it, man. I'll tell you that much. Whenever you're trying to get 2 pieces of old galvanized apart from each other, and it's like, hey, I'm not asking anymore, I'm telling. Come apart. 2-foot level. That's used for like running sewer, repiping houses in the crawl space, everything along those lines. I use a 2-footer, not a 4-footer, just because I don't do a lot of laterals anymore. I did a lot of sewer laterals, you know, going from the house to like the sewer tap in the yard or to the septic tank. I did a lot of that in Florida. I just don't do a lot of that now. We have a crew that does that, and I'm a service guy. I'm not part of that install crew, so I don't really use a 4-footer, so I just keep a 2-footer now. 48-inch crowbar. This is used for like pulling septic tank lids, pulling manhole covers, pulling pump cover, or like sewage pump covers. Again, it's one of those tools that I don't need it all the time, but when I need it, I freaking need it. Going to the pack out here, this is the one that the bar still works on. I'm not a Milwaukee guy. Whatever tool is best guy. Up top here, I keep my spare battery and my charger for my Bosch drill. A little bag of batteries, because sometimes we run into like those Sloan valves that they have the automatic sensor on them. Sometimes the sensor just needs batteries, so bag of batteries. completely pass-through socket set. I use this a lot on like 3-bolt toilets like Kohler's and Mansfield's, because good luck getting anything back in the back of that toilet whenever it's against the wall to tighten that back bolt down on the tank to the bowl. This thing works wonders on that though. Spare set of solder, it's lead free. Spare set of flux. Keep a long bit extension for my impact driver in here. 2 of those. This is a tool that is not used very often, but this is like a handle puller for like those old 3-handle shower valves. Sometimes people don't want to replace them, they want to rebuild those old ones. So if you have a handle that doesn't want to come off, this thing will try to coax it off. If this can't get it off, the handle seized on there and they just need new handles. Keep an accoutrement, Sawzall blades in here. I also keep them with my power tools in the bottom part of my Milwaukee set. And then this right here is a commercial hose bib key. We do also commercial service work. Sometimes they have that commercial hose bib that it doesn't have a handle on it outside, and this key works for those. Second drawer down. This came with a Kohler toilet, like a rebuild kit that I bought one time, and I thought I was going to use this a lot, but I don't. So that's getting thrown away. I don't actually need this anymore. This is an element wrench for a water heater. I since have bought a better one. So this one is just taking up space. I never use this one anymore. Actually, believe it or not, I tried to use that on a water heater and I slipped and I cut my finger open on a metal water heater pan, sliced me all the way to the bone. And yeah, so screw that thing. Tub wrench set. Again, for those old 3-handle tubs. Sometimes an adjustable wrench just won't get that thing out, so it's got multiple different sizes, and it's got a key in there to go in the slot to use as the wrench. A Moen cartridge puller. Again, we don't use a lot of Moens up here, but a lot of times whenever you have an old Moen valve you need to replace the cartridge in. This is the only thing that'll get that cartridge out. Everything else, you're going to snap that cartridge off in there. 2 big 12-inch adjustables, because sometimes the 8-inch just doesn't open wide enough. Rigid stop wrench. This is used for angle stops on toilets and shutoff valves. We don't use a lot of compression where I'm at, but this is good whenever we do use compression. This right here, this is like an easy out. It's mainly used for things along the lines of like shower arms. It's, again, one of those tools. It's a specialty tool. I maybe need it once a year, but whenever I need it, nothing else will do. Another set of 12-inch channel locks, in case I need 2 of them. Actually, these Irwins I found on a job. I never use them somewhere else. Another pair of 12-inch channel locks. These were actually my first set of channel locks ever. And they've got the kind of like, you know, hexagonal shape in there. The reason why I don't like Knipex or Knipex or whatever the hell it's called, I can't remember, because they're garbage. But anyway, the reason why I don't use them is because I don't like this shape. I like the flats. They're just the best shape there is. I never have been in a situation where I needed this over the flats. So those can go somewhere else. A compression angle stop puller right here. This is like a compression ring on a compression angle stop. This will thread in there, and then you can, you know, thread this T-handle down, and it'll pull the nut off with the compression nut. And then just a couple pairs of safety glasses. Having PPE is good. I've had too many things, too many pieces of shrapnel in my eye, so I just use PPE now. Pro tip, all you young plumbers out there. I need to get a knee surgery done because I have not taken care of my knees. Use a foam pad. Whenever you're working on a toilet or working underneath a faucet or something like that, just use the foam pad. It's not a pussy pad. It's not, you know, being scared or anything like that. You're protecting yourself. Just use the foam pad. Third drawer, this is kind of like my demo drawer slash, you know, other tools I don't need. I carry a 30-foot Stanley in here. Again, I've got like 3 tape measures. The reason why I have a 30-foot is checking water table on wells. You need to, whenever you're pulling an old well, it's not functioning, they're not getting the pressure they need or anything like that, or they're running out of water, their pump keeps, you know, drying out and losing prime and everything like that. You pull the drop pipe, you check the water table, make sure the water table's good. 25-foot won't work for that, just because a lot of times the water table set at anywhere between 22 and 27 feet here, so the 30-foot works good for that. Pair of bolt cutters. These are mainly used for like trimming toilet bolts, closet bolts. 2 putty knives. These are used for whenever you pull up a toilet, scooping that old wax seal off of that flange, scraping the old wax seal off the old toilet, and then also keep them nice and wipe them off and everything like that. And then you can use them to scrape off the old caulking on the floor, grout, whatever they used. 4-in-1 rasp. This is really good for beveling PVC pipe. I don't do it all the time, but if I'm doing like a long sewer lateral or something like that, then I will use this to bevel my pipe. Wonder bar. The reason why it's called a wonder bar is because you wonder how you got by without it. Again, general purpose crowbar, everything like that. Keep a cold chisel for whenever that little Milwaukee flathead won't do. Kind of chiseling out concrete, everything like that. Swanson Speed Square. Believe it or not, as a plumber, I do have to cut straight cuts in boards sometimes. Sometimes I have to sister up a joist or something like that, because I had to cut it out in order to do my work in there. Sometimes I have to cut backing board to support a shower valve I installed. You want nice straight cuts in there, especially if you're going between 2 2x4s. If you have one that's wonky, you're not going to be able to toenail it easily. So, and I keep 2 hammers. This one's a 28 ounce. This one's a 19 ounce. I use this one predominantly, but sometimes whenever I'm not asking it, I'm telling it to go, I'll use the 28 ounce. Tier 3 box number 2. Do me a favor, if you've made it this far in the video, again, I know it's long and drawn out and everything like that, but if you've made it this far, it was a pain in the ass to pull all this off of my van in order to show you guys all of this. So please, go ahead, leave a like, comment. You know, constructive comments are nice, but if you just want to troll, go ahead and leave a comment there. Helps me anyway. Yeah, go ahead, like, comment, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be cool. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I would love it if you did. I know I'm very sporadic with my content, but I try to put out quality stuff whenever I can. I try to be real for you guys too. So, all right, this top drawer, it's got all the bits and everything. It's got a Tapcon set, drill bit, multiple spade bits of different sizes. I've got larger wood bits. Again, not very commonly used, but they come in handy. Small set of easy outs. Sometimes you need to unthread something that just doesn't want to unthread, so you gotta knock an easy out in there and unthread it. A bit set for my screw guns. Specifically, these are T15s. I can't remember what I ran into, but I ran into something where it needed a T15. I didn't have a T15, so I was like, I'm gonna go pick up a set. You can never have too many Phillips bits, so tons of impact rated Phillips bits here. Another 5/16 nut driver bit right there, and just an accoutrement of bits and everything in here. So, actually I need new ones, holy crap. These are 2 different inside the pipe cutters. These are coming really handy whenever you're like setting a new flange. You have to go in there and nothing else will cut in there, so you attach this to your drill. You go inside that toilet flange, you cut out the flange, everything. You can knock it out with a chisel and a hammer. And a set of hole saws, just a bunch of hole saw bits right here. I mean, tons of uses for that. specific case uses, typically for dishwashers or running ice maker line through cabinets. So this is the one that latch doesn't work anymore right there, and whenever I'm driving, it'll just pop out like that. So yeah, that's great. Second drawer here, I've got a strap wrench, those Sloan flushometer valves. One of the ones that we work on, it's very common in commercial buildings, is the automatic ones, and they don't have any sort of flat spots that you can get a wrench onto, and you don't just want to put a big pair of channel locks on there because it'll mar it up. Someone probably would, some Chuck with the truck or some Joe Schmo who's doing it would probably do that, and it just looks like crap. Strap wrench. Tin snips. These come in handy for cutting off old like galvanized strapping. So, tin snips. Wire cutters and crimpers and wire strippers. Again, I'm not an electrician, but hooking up well pumps, hooking up garbage disposals, hooking up dishwashers, hooking up water heaters comes in very handy. A 1/2 inch ratchet with an 1 1/8 socket on there. This is used for like anode rods. These right here, anyone who knows. The wire saw cutter for PVC. Sometimes you got a piece of PVC that's between two studs and you just cannot get a Sawzall or anything else in there. Wrap this around it, cut it. Again, it's one of those tools that's like you don't need it all the time, but you'd be lost if you needed it. Nothing else would work. This little mini bandsaw, which I used to use to cut toilet bolts, but now I've got the Milwaukee foldable, so it's gonna go somewhere else. Another set of PEX cutters. Sometimes I'll have a helper with me and I'll need them to, I'll measure off a piece of PEX, I'll be on a ladder working on a water heater, and they need to cut PEX too for me and feed it up to me, so hand them this pair. Kind of chintzy, but whatever. A 2-sided tub wrench. This is used for installing basket strainers or tub drains. An accoutrement of screwdrivers in here. I got a bunch of Phillips heads, some other flat heads. I've got a 6-in-1 that I lost everything in. Small flathead, little 5/16 ratcheting screwdriver. Like I told you guys before, 5/16 is the most common like socket head size that we use on Fernco's, no hubs, everything like that. If you need to put a Fernco, or you need to take a Fernco off in a wall, and I guess that screwdriver is not needed anymore. Whenever you need to take a Fernco off in a wall, and it's like facing, you cut one side of drywall, but the nuts are facing the other direction because the guy who put it in, the wall is completely open. You can reach back there and unratchet it with that. So, another 5/16 nut driver, small little number 1 Phillips, and another set of blades. Alright, bottom drawer here. This is a big boy. This is a specific, see what I mean? We'll put this guy up here to counterbalance. So this is a Sloan specific wrench. The Sloan flushometers, like if you go in Applebee's or an Olive Garden, and you take a dump, you flush the toilet, or use a urinal and you flush the toilet. Those ones with the handle sticking out the side that you hit and it power flushes, that's what I'm talking about. That wrench is specifically designed for them to not mar them. As you can see, it's a smooth jaw, and it's an off-angled pipe wrench. 18-inch rigid pipe wrench. Again, I got this one for $7 at a Goodwill. Large basin wrench for no-caulk shower drains. It's pretty much the only thing I use this for. Stop it. This is that T-handled socket wrench I was telling you about that is used for water heaters. It slides, you can go to either end with it, and you can put it in the middle. 2 14-inch pipe wrenches. A little teensy little baby pipe wrench. I never use this. I just think it's cool, so I keep it. And 2 large channel locks. This is a Crescent brand channel lock. This is before I got on my channel lock kick. And then old set of channel locks I bought for 12 bucks at a flea market. I re-dipped the handles because the handles were gone. But yeah, so All right, so power tools. I actually forgot to mention in my tier 3 stuff, we just went through all the tier 3 stuff, is this is a manometer. I'm not going to take it out because there's 100 parts to it and I don't feel like putting it back. But this is used for testing gas water heaters. Typically if it's a gas water heater, we're working on Rinnai tankless. Sometimes we get a standard like Rheem or A.O. Smith or something along those lines. That's a gas water heater, but this is used for testing water column, inches of water column on gas, make sure they got proper pressure. So, power tools. This is the bottom box. I have a little tray up here, some more Sawzall blades and everything that sit inside there. Actually, before we get in here, I'll just go ahead and do this. This is a small rotary hammer, chipping hammer, whatever you want to call it. Little Milwaukee. Got a couple different bits, chipping bits and drilling bits in here. I do have a cordless hammer drill, but I don't have a cordless chipping hammer. I like the corded chipping hammer just because it's not going to drain a battery, and it's half to a third of the price of a battery operated chipping hammer. I predominantly use these for installing new hose bibs, drilling holes for hose bibs in like foundation wall for like crawl spaces, and I also use it for chipping out concrete for flanges, everything along those lines. So, all right, so I'm just going top to bottom. There's no rhyme or reason for this thing. Everything's just chucked in here. My cordless hammer drill, hacksaw. If you know, you know. Plumbers or anyone who uses Sawzall, those big two-handed ones, sometimes it just ain't it. You're trying to, you have to hold a pipe and cut it with one hand, and that big thing's unwieldy and everything along those lines. Little hacksaw, perfect. Batteries, grinder, specifically for cutting cast iron and concrete. Multi-tool, cutting open drywall, cutting pieces of wood, cutting countertop to fit a new sink or something in there. Million and one uses. Impact driver. Obviously I'm driving screws quite often, so that guy's perfect. Charger, batteries. I have a skill saw. I need a new skill saw because this one only runs off the flex volt, and I only have one flex volt battery, so if that's dead, I'm dead in the water and I'm SOL. But like I said, I know it's hard to believe, but even as a plumber, I need to cut straight boards sometimes. This cuts them faster and easier and straighter than a Sawzall does. And I know it's just crapping on the two-handed Sawzall, but I still got one. This thing's good if you put a cast iron blade in it. This thing's really good. It's got the weight behind it. You don't even press down on it. You just hit the trigger, and it just feeds itself down through that cast iron. Everything left in here is just batteries and a charger. So, all right, guys. Hey, thanks for sticking around for the whole video. If you did, if you skipped to the end, perfect. Love it. Thanks. Thanks for the view. I just ask that if you like the video, please leave a like. If you have anything constructive or trolly to say, go ahead and leave a comment. If you would, please consider subscribing. I'm going to try and start putting out more videos. If you want more content about like my tools and everything like that, I am a tool head, so I've got, as you can see back there, I got a whole shed full of tools. I can give you like a shop rundown. It is messy, so whatever. I can do a video about how Knipex sucks and Channel Lock is better than every other thing out there on the market. As you can see, I don't have every tool. I don't have a ProPress tool. I don't have a battery operated PVC cutter. We don't do a lot of ProPress, and whenever we do, my shop has a couple of different ProPress guns that they loan out to us to use. I don't have all the tools that the influencer plumbers do online, because I found that I get by just fine with this. It's messy, it's down and dirty, but it works. And I use everything in here. There's nothing in here that I don't use. Everything in here gets used at least once a year, if not multiple times a year. I don't just have this stuff to have it. Besides that little mini pipe wrench. That thing I just have to have. I never use that thing. But, like I said, it's real, it's down and dirty. This is what I use. If you're just getting into plumbing, if you're a plumber's apprentice, you don't need all of this. I would recommend you refer back to my tier 1 bag if you're like a plumber's apprentice and you're just getting into it. Get a level, get a tape measure, get some channel locks, get some adjustable wrenches, and get some good ears on you, because you're going to need to listen if you want to do this stuff, man. I mean, it's fun. I get a lot of fulfillment, a lot of reward out of this stuff. I love doing it, and now I got to put all this crap back on my van, but you guys are worth it, and I love you so much. Big shout out to my buddies Eric, Jeremy, Ator, and Roman for giving me the idea to do this video. I pretty much did this for you guys because you guys wanted to see what tools I use, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it in a timely manner and send it to you guys via breakdown of 2-minute videos through text message. So I just shot this big thing basically for y'all. I do have a solder tray if you're interested to see what's in there. Go ahead and leave a comment and I can put up a video for that. But until next time, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.